All right. Got another episode of Powerhouse Conversations. Got a new guest coming in. It's going to be a good one for the sports business. Got any athletes out there? Let me get my boy go on. Basically cryptocurrency Scarface. Join us. There's got to be more of us. I'm from the ghetto. What location? What's good? What's good? Everybody get in. Mexican sombrero. Drink heavily. Health is wealth. Got Brandon on. History, my type of clothes. Miss me with the hate. Help so many people get cake. Whips and cream. Let our guests get in. Okay, here we go. Time I spit this, I started some other business. Came from the kitchen. Came in the kitchen. What's good, Street Stacks? My boy J-Bo on. What's up? What's up?
What's good? What's good?
What's good with you, man? Everything going?
I can't complain.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good, man. I can hear you good.
Perfect.
I can hear you good. I can hear you real good. What's good?
Hey, how your day going, man?
Man, my day is going, man. I got my favorite water. Pellegrino.
Okay.
Paid me for that.
Okay.
But no, man, everything's good. Everything's good. Can't complain at all, not one bit.
Good. Where are you at right now?
So I live in Miami.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I live in Miami, man. I rep the D heavy from
Yep.
Detroit. You know, I obviously lived in Montgomery for a while with you know, Bama State, but I'm down here in Miami now, man.
Cool.
Wife grew up here, born in Haiti, so she kept me continue to come and moving down south.
Gotcha. Well, I'm out here in Dallas right now. This storming, so I was trying to see how the weather is for you. I know you down in Miami, so I know
we fortunately right now we don't have anything. Everything's good.
Okay, good. Well, I'll introduce.
Good. I see this.
What's up?
No, I just said I see my close homie.
Okay. Yeah, I see everybody getting in. But yeah. Man, let's kick this off. Powerhouse Conversations, where we bring in entrepreneurs to have dope conversations, change the conversation that we having on a daily basis. You know, we want to shift the things that we're talking about. We want to make sure that people are business minded and understanding, you know, how to innovate. You know, we inspire innovation. So when we bring people on, we want to be able to talk about your experiences, the ups, the downs, everything in between. And be able to help them get there. So I'm Fred Underwood. Our guest is Orlando. He's a sports agent with Pyramid Sports and Entertainment Group. So you know, I'll let you kick it off and tell a little bit about yourself. Tell a little bit about the you know, how you got into the business.
Oh man, Fred. First of all, thank you for having me, man. Obviously, you know, when you talk about entrepreneurship, it takes a certain mindset, right? It takes the thought. Everybody doesn't wake up. You know, some people do, but everybody doesn't wake up immediately wanting to say, I want to be a business owner. I want to run this. I want to run that. You know, some people may say they want to run a company, but they want to run it for somebody else. Right. So, you know, like I said, man, you know, Orlando Arnold, born and raised, you know, I'm a thorough Detroit cat. You know, I'm real deal 313, you know. But in that same vein, man, I'm appreciative of the time I had at Alabama State, living in Montgomery, proud HBCU alum. And from that point, I moved on to Miami, where I am now. But in between that time, really took some time after I played baseball at Alabama State. You know, 4 great years of my life, doing everything from enjoying college to pledging in Alpha Phi Alpha, Beta, you know, chapter there on the yard. And really after college, I decided I hurt my shoulder, and that was it for my career. And I decided that, you know, what was next, right? And so I knew that I wanted to do something at a higher level. So what I did after that was I got my MBA. And for me getting my MBA, it allowed me to open up some more doors of really exploring the field of when you're meeting people face to face. So I got into hospitality. Then really turned into finding the love for sales. Was in pharmaceutical sales for a while. Really excelled in that and hospitality, on the way up to management in pharmaceutical sales. Over 3 states. And then I got to that point in my career where I was still involved with Major League Baseball on the volunteer side on the RBI program. But I really I start, hearing a lot of things and stories about representation and what people thought it was like versus what it actually was.
Right.
And in that point, man, I felt like it should have been more. It should be more of a connection, more of a not necessarily more of a family feeling, right?
Right.
But still with the corporate structure.
Right.
And so from that point, man, I just decided to resign. I got a amazingly supportive wife who is in her own right a boss, and just told me to go ahead and inform it. So together, myself and co-founder Ernest Purnell, we just formed the company, man. I mean, it sounds simple.
Yeah.
And it was simple in that aspect, right? But then, I tell people all the time when they reach out, to me, I can think about our player development coordinator, Misha Ozan, who's a up and coming amazing young person, is going to be a future killer in the game. And I remember when she first started working with us, we talked about some of the things, how easy it was to be an agent. I said, it's easy to be an agent.
Right.
It's hard to stay being an agent.
Right.
And so, because all you gotta do is take a test.
Right.
Just do the research, you take a test.
Yep.
But then it comes the entrepreneurial part, right?
Right.
It becomes the sustainability. It becomes the brand. It becomes the recognition.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes the respect factor. Because, you always you could think people right away.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute you say, excuse me, I'm doing this now. And then the minute is, well, does he know what he's doing?
Right.
That's in any arena when you switch over crossing lanes, right?
Yep.
So for me, man, the journey's been a blessing. I couldn't do anything without God, man. The journey's been a blessing. To date, we've been in existence nearly 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Have several baseball clients, both in organizations, both that we advise. Some NFL clients as well. Jonathan Ward with the Arizona Cardinals. Mandel Ray was a Morehouse grad, a free agent from their Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all in all, when you look at both sports combined, including our advisees, we got about 20 clients, man. So we're growing. Excuse me. I've been vaccinated, so it's just regular. But all in all, man, we're growing. Never forgetting, why we begin this mission of really making sure we care about all our guys off the field and always keeping their families informed too.
Right.
So always keeping that connectivity. That's a big thing with me. I never forget where I come from.
Right.
We keep that slogan and continue to move by it.
No, I think you pointed out a lot of good points just to begin, because you talked about that part of making a decision. So talked about it being simple, because when people think about business, like people will say like, hey, I'm a business owner, I do this or whatever, and it's very simple. Anybody can say they own a business, but to be able to sustain and to be able to keep growing is the biggest thing. You can go to IRS.gov and go get you an EIN and start a business tonight or tomorrow. You can go right. Yep. You can go get your LLC, but if you don't do anything, if you don't have anything in place, you don't have any systems in place, then you don't actually have a business. Then you're just going through the motions, or you just have the paperwork to say you have a business. So that was a big thing that I took from what you just said, is just the leaping out on faith and then going ahead and starting it. But I know one of the things that you did talk about also was, trying to make a change in how sports agents are viewed. So when you jump into the industry, and typically from what I took from it is that, agents are typically viewed as, okay, they're just out for themselves, versus you said you wanted to make a family, you wanted to be family oriented, and you wanted to change how that is. So tell me a little bit more about that.
I tell people all the time, it's interesting you talk about money and finances, and I tell people all the time, like, it's getting compensated an agent to me is a blessing of the business, right? And I tell people this, and I'm serious, and it's not being cocky, but it's the truth. Like, if I wanted to do something for money, I would have stayed in farming what I was doing.
Right.
Right. I was a district manager under the age of 35.
Right.
So I was straight.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And
Right.
so, but I enjoy this because when you can help a young man's dreams come true, and you can work with their family, and you can keep that connectivity there. I think that's the biggest part, right? That's the biggest part, making sure guys are successful off the field. I tell you, the last person I talk to, I recruit, I meet, even my current guys, the money you gonna make from playing is gonna be you. If you ball, you're gonna make the money.
Yep.
Right? Obviously, there's a negotiation thing, but like you're gonna get paid your value.
Right.
How can we grow you off the field?
Yep.
Because when it's time to hang up, when it's time to retire, the cleats are gonna tap you on the shoulder.
Yep.
They're not gonna give you a heads up.
Yep. And it might not be when you want it.
They're not gonna give you a 2-week notice. The cleats might come in the middle of the night.
Right.
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 We need to have a succession plan for you, and making sure that you understand what life is like without sport.
Right.
You know, not only my unique ability, but the people that are at our company, right? You have, everyone at our company is a former player, right? Whether it's Christina, who's our general counsel, ran track at Dartmouth. Ernest, as I said, played football. Misha ran as an All-American, ran track at San Diego State. I played at Alabama State. D, our media coordinator, played baseball at Alabama A&M. So not only do we understand what life is like after sport, but we also can understand what it looks like through the eyes of an athlete when they get ready to make that transitional phase. But the biggest aspect when age is sometimes is it always is a negative connotation, right? Somebody who's watching this live right now is gonna laugh when I say this, because she's the first person that told me this, is that I don't sound like a used car salesman.
Right.
Right. And that's true. That's true. You have to be authentic. You have to be genuine. Like, just because I'm an agent doesn't mean I'm a human. I'm a person.
Right.
I don't care about you, right?
Right.
Like, just because you didn't go, like you were supposed to go in the first or second round, but you fall to the 5th round, my level of care is supposed to start changing.
Right.
Right? Am I supposed to stop caring? No, but that's not what we're about. That's not how I was raised. That's not how I live as a man of faith. And so that's the biggest thing when you are in this business, because you're constantly overshadowing the norms, right?
Right.
I've had people say, "Oh, why you got an agent? Or why you have an advisor?" And then when they meet me and talk to me, it's a different story. Or if they meet someone else in our company, it's a different story. Right. Because they see, okay, they're not about just the money.
Yeah,
right?
You can read people and see how genuine they are about you, and how genuine they are about you as the person, not just the player.
And that's the biggest key, man. Listen, I think for better or for worse, good, bad, and different, as they say, agents do get a bad rap. Now, it's reasons why we get a bad rap, right? But I want to make sure that I'm doing my part in this industry, in this sphere, and erasing some of those myths.
Yep.
I think because when you do that, you really begin to show that there are good people out there.
Right. So tell me a little bit about what some of the things that you're seeing in just the business world, that you're kind of opening up your clients to finding other revenue streams, for themselves.
Well, content is big. Any opportunities you can do to get content is big. Any opportunities you can do to get your clients in tech, any opportunities you can do to get your clients in brand ambassadorships or endorsements, for the long game, right? It's cool to get paid, a $50,000 check, right? What if you get what if you get a revenue share, or a profit percentage or anything like that,
right?
Long term,
right?
So some of the things that we do with our company is we strategically put them in arenas that they care about,
right?
That they live about.
Right, because if you're passionate about it, then you're gonna do the work to actually sell that and market that. You have to be passionate about it. If you just take a check and you don't really care about it, then it's going to be a situation where it's not a good situation for either person.
Exactly, so spot on. So whether you like real estate, whether they like they can like botany. They like botany. We'll get them, botanist. And make sure, and because everyone has that corporate experience, that collegiate to corporate transition, we all have connections throughout the corporate world.
Right. Right.
There, to assist you. And we also work with our specific players associations, right?
Right.
Specifically with the NFLPA, they do an amazing job of providing resources to the player agent community to assist the players. But we still take it another step further in assisting guys in whatever they need, and really creating, brand visibility, content structure, and then creating off the field opportunities, whether it's a foundation, whether it's a setup. So the minute the game is done, there is no pause, there is no food,
Right.
there is no moment to say, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Because we already had that succession lined up. You know what
right. Yeah, if you're doing it while you're playing, if you have these things in place, then that transition isn't some big aha moment or some big life change for you. It's something that, especially, and you talked about it a little bit more, like from a family aspect. If you have a family, like you're responsible for taking care of people and human beings. So if once you retire, or if you're forced to retire, then that transition has to be smooth, because that's other people that are going to be involved with it.
Yep. Makes sense. I agree.
And so another thing I was thinking about, you always hear all the horror stories about their finances. So I get, we get the, creating the different revenue streams, but how about managing that money when you're getting it? Is that something that you all handle as well?
So I don't like touching money that I just don't believe in that conflict of interest, right? I just don't. I don't believe in having somebody in-house in our company that's going to manage your money.
Right.
Managing the same money that I'm going to get compensated by.
Right.
That don't work. But what I do is, I have a select group of resources, whether it be in insurance, whether it be in real estate, whether it be in financial services, that I trust. These are people that I know, right? I just don't, I just don't pick the random person or the celebrity person that has clients all over to procure. I go with people that I trust, that are good at what they do, that are experts in the business, in the industry, and then those are the people that I'll allow I suggest, that my clients can work with.
Right.
Because I don't have to wonder or worry, like,
if they're being taken care of.
Or not only to take it another step further, not only if they're being taken care of, but are they being taken advantage of?
Right.
Because here's the thing is, as an agent, we're hands-on with our clients.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the money, that's an aspect that's hands-off. So it's only so much I can cross-check for.
Right.
Now, what you can do for any agent or any person that's out there thinking like, well, what if they still getting away? You can always hire an auditor that you trust to audit financial advice.
Audit at the end of the year, every year.
Right. And then you can review that if you want with your client.
Right.
So that's another way to ensure that your client is taken care of. Now, I will also say this. If you have to get an auditor for
might be a red flag.
Financial advisor.
Right.
Put that out there, because you never know when people are watching us and talking to us what situations they may be in. You know?
Right. Because if you got to second guess it, then you might be in the wrong situation.
Exactly. Wholeheartedly.
Yep. And so another thing, just with those decision making processes and going into the draft and everything to that nature, like, what are you seeing as the next wave for for these opportunities that these new athletes are that have coming in?
Well, the next wave is right now. The next wave is NIL, name, image, and likeness. That's not necessarily the next wave. That is the wave.
Right? Yeah.
And if you have a governor that's progressive, and I don't mean progressive in terms of party lines. I mean progressive in terms of if they're forward thinking with athletics and they pass this bill, then once your state passes the legislation. Once the governor signs it, for example, in Florida, it's going to go into play July 1st. I know in Alabama, where I used to live, the bill, I think, by Governor Ivey was already signed.
Right.
Check that. That's the next wave, right? So if you're going to have your bargain basement opportunities, right? But what can you do to get creative to help that freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever, that may not be the household name.
Right.
Because there is money out there. There are marketing and endorsements out there. And
Right.
if you set up a player's nest egg before he graduates, you know,
Yep.
up under the guise of the NIL, that's the wave. That's right now. That's coming.
Right.
About to
Right.
happen. So if you are any type of representation firm, that's what you need to be thinking about. And I know we've had myriad of conversations that have been, you know, discussing that and talking about that, but that's what's happening. That's what's happening. That's next. That's right
Yep.
now.
Yep. And so, and to make sure I understand, so like when they're in college, they can get paid off their name, image and likeness. So to get that set up, they're working with an agent already, or is how does that work?
So they're going to allow a player to sign with an agent.
Okay.
As long as the agent doesn't pursue professional opportunities, which, I mean, you can't pursue professional opportunities because there's checks and balances in those things.
Right. Right.
Like if a player from Texas wants to sign with me for his marketing and branding, and he's a sophomore, like I can't really pursue professional opportunities unless he's going to Canada, possibly.
Right. Right.
But why would I do that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it has rules in place, you can't enter the draft until you're 3 years removed from high school.
Right.
You know, so that's a line that needs to be in there.
Right.
But at the same token, there's some other checks and balances that are in place, and it needs to be in there because people can get creative. They can try to buzz the lines and blur the lines a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, they're going to allow players to sign with agents, so to speak.
Yep.
Firms for their name, image, and likeness.
So realistically, it's a great time for people like you, because now you've been open to an entirely new pool of clientele.
It's a great time, but you still got to be smart about it as well.
Right.
You still got to be smart about it as well. You still have to be strategic about it as well. It's a time to really roll up your sleeves and get to work.
Yep.
Now, if you got that all-star, 5-star freshman that you can recruit, but you ain't have to worry about him signing into 2-3 more years, well, he might graduate from high school, and we can see in a couple years that when you announce who you sign on your commitment on your signing day, you gonna also announce who you signing with.
Right. So also realistically, wouldn't that impact recruiting? Because if only certain states are going to be able to
listen. The bigger cash cows or the bigger schools with the alumni bases, USC is tied in there Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Alabama's doing stuff. Miami, Florida State, Georgia, all the big dogs already have separate entities for branding and right now. And a caveat to that, you know, we're thinking in the grand scheme of things, that's going to affect pockets of students. It's going to affect pockets of athletes, right?
Right.
So I would miss as an HBCU alum if I didn't call it out. Like,
right.
You's going to be able to.
Yep.
Are they going to be able to keep up with the game in that aspect? Right.
Yep.
So it's going to be a shift. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a show.
Yep.
Good or bad.
Right.
But we have to be prepared for it. You always got to be 2 steps ahead.
Yep. And that brings up a good point. Like I've been a big proponent of our athletes, our Black athletes being able to, if the opportunity is right, go to HBCUs. Okay. So in that sense, if there is the ability to make money off your name, image, and likeness,
okay,
then that kind of narrows that gap in a sense, because if I'm a 5-star athlete, it don't matter. It really doesn't matter where I go anymore, right? Because I can make my money at Alabama State or at Alabama if I'm like that. You know what I'm saying?
True. I'm a proponent that, you know,
and not necessarily Alabama, because Alabama's a totally different beast, but
it is. But I'll say, but I mean, it's relevant for me because in terms of, I went to Alabama State. I know it. Typically, those players and those families and those kids. I lived in Alabama for 17 years.
Yeah.
Like I know how that fan base and those young men and even the young ladies that play sports as well. I know how to think. Like Alabama is worshipped. If you don't worship Alabama, worship Auburn.
Right.
Um, I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, I have to say this and be realistic about it, that there is an opportunity for HBCUs to get extremely creative, to get extremely innovative, because amazing amount of successful HBCU graduates that are in Hollywood, that are at Netflix, that are at Google, that are at Microsoft, that are at Nike, that are at all these companies that are I think the head of ABC, maybe an HBCU alum, a black woman that just got promoted. She's a head of ABC something. But nevertheless, we have the collective power out there to empower our HBCU students. I think the issue is that we don't have a clear vessel on how to gear it in the right direction. Whereas if you're a Michigan alum, you're gonna get email.
Right.
We're launching our new NIL branding for our future football players and basketball players.
Don't
take here. Right? We don't have the specific vessel, nor do I think as a whole. There are some HBCUs that are on it. They have amazing athletic directors, as most of them do. But I don't think we're fully engulfed in it yet to really tap into our creative greatness that we have as HBCU alums. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. You got my mind spinning, because I'm just thinking about how can ASU benefit, or how can they tap into this and like bring some more talent in, just especially with even from the basketball perspective, with Mo Williams coming in, like how can we start to benefit and bring in more talent? Because if we can get the top talent at HBCUs, then that changes the dynamic, and then it helps even non-athletes. When you see the athletics change different programs. If you look at my parents are from the Tuscaloosa area, so I saw what the difference, just the economy of Tuscaloosa.
Oh, you're right. I said on my podcast the other day, the Yard Report. Shout out, shameless plug, myself and Taryn Bushrod. People don't realize how great of importance athletic plays on academic prowess, right? Because there's a handful. There's what you say, 7% go and play college athletics. So there are 93% of students who are just good in high school, who know after their junior year of high school, I'm not going to play college sports.
Right.
But they may be National Merit Scholars, National Honor Society, excuse me. They may want to be doctors or lawyers, right? And if your team is winning, what do they want to do? They want to go to the cool school.
Right.
Right. And I know that service that you're talking about. Since Saban has been in Alabama and winning SEC titles and national titles, UA's enrollment has skyrocketed. And they have a wait list. And on top of that, now their academic profile has changed. For the better. Because now you can be selective on the academic student that you allow into your school. Same thing can happen with HBCUs.
Exactly.
If you pour into the resources now, and I think it can happen even in greater aspect of now you can start getting more colleges on your campus, right? If you don't have STEM on your yard, you can start opening up the programs and the departments for STEM. Right. And then when STEM gets there, or any other college, you can start getting those corporate dollars that are going to every other school.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
No, perfect sense.
I think that people don't realize how great of a part that athletics really plays in this grand scheme of things. Think about it. Athletics, sports in general, is the only topic where you can have a conversation with somebody you don't agree with, you don't identify with religiously, politically, sexually, and whatever else it is. You sports can talk about sports with somebody and forget that y'all don't even like each other. And I mean, sit next to each other in a game. If y'all rooting for the same team, that is your best friend. The minute the game is over, you will realize I may not care for that person. Right. And so sports has that same power when you shift it to the mindset of athletics from an institutional standpoint.
Yep. It's real powerful because, like you said, when you're able to boost the type of student that you're going to get, that in terms, like we just talked about, these people in these corporate places that are
Yep.
HBCU alumni, now that's going to increase. So now
Yep.
we have more people in the corporate spaces that can go and pull back to this HBCU and pull them up and say, hey, okay, I'm at this I'm at Apple. Okay, now I'm going to go recruit at HBCUs and
Yep.
bring in some more students. So that impacts the community that these HBCUs are in, because now you're going to keep being able to get more students and get students that are going to be in these offices and making these decisions, and that's going to be important.
Agree.
Yep.
So let me ask you, how do we look at the the marketing aspect, with this being powerhouse conversation, and because I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what you say. How do we shift that focus?
So I really think, like you said, coming up with ways that we're going to be able to use the name, image, and likeness, and being able to get that out to the students. So educating those athletes on what that means. So because you got to think about it, young people are creative. They understand social media better than I'm 33. And, you're thinking about these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and they understand social media better than we will ever be able to. So the more you empower them, that's one way to get their mind spinning on how they can use it. But then you have to get into the athletic department, and they have to understand it, and they have to buy in, because I think that's the biggest thing. Even with being with Alabama State, is getting the leadership to buy in. And that's going to allow you to be able to put in any programs that you want and be able to get back. So even think about it from, like you said, the email marketing perspective, getting out to alumni, making sure that they're giving and they're giving back, and they're putting their resources back into it, because that's something that a lot of HBCUs struggle with, is alumni giving. If we can get alumni to give the way that these PWIs give, that's going to be big to making that change. And then, like I said, it's a trickle down effect into the community. So we get into the communities, and the communities that these HBCUs are in, if you have their support, we're getting them to show up to the games and show up to the to be able to have that support. It's going to grow, and it's going to continue to grow. So it's just a cycle, and putting those systems in place that allows us to be successful in the same thing that these PWIs are doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. And taking that a step further is, even from the representation side, once you get your clients, it's all about teaching them how to give back, and whatever it is, right? Whether they were from a Power 5 or HBCU, it's all about making sure that they take it a step further and give back, not only to their community, but their institution, right?
Right.
Because their institution needs those resources. Every institution does.
Yep.
And so I think it's just imperative that we're pushing that narrative forward of giving back and doing a lot of things, but using the marketing aspect of it, and really just creating a brand and going from there.
Yep. Oh, but one more thing before we wrap up. Are you familiar with NFT? You here? Okay. Yeah. Are you familiar with NFTs?
Excuse me?
NFT? The NFT.
So
NFTs are it's like digital art, basically. So I don't know if you've seen like with the cryptocurrency, and so that's becoming a big thing in sports. So I was wondering, just as well with this.
Somebody get NFT and sell it. Look at NFT, everything.
Yep.
Yeah. I've just started to immerse myself in that.
Yep.
So I'm not as super diverse, but I'm just starting to immerse myself in that.
No, but that's one thing, like as far as like ideas on marketing, that's going to be big, because it grows. Like, so we're talking about, you talked about earlier, instead of getting a check for, like you just said, whatever it's 50K or whatever, you create your own, NFT or your own token that's going to be able to, so for somebody to be invested in, and then it grows. Just like, because right now, I'm just looking at my account, cryptocurrency, Ethereum is booming right now, right? So you be able to tap into this cryptocurrency wave, and now you're growing, and it's going to be something that's going to be exponentially growing. So it's not just something that you're getting paid off right now.
Exactly.
You're going to be able to get paid off it forever. So that's going to be big in for these athletes as well.
It's going to be big, man. And anytime, you know, even if you look at like what Russell Coon did when he got half his contract in Bitcoin, and now he basically, you know, increased that value because he asked for it in Bitcoin. Like any way that we as either agents can educate our athletes, or we're even educated ourselves, and not necessarily demanded from our athletes, but implied that this is the structure it needs to go in. Anything you think futuristic and not worry about the right now, it's always the better. Because if we look, our economy is always changing. Just like in the NFL, the salary cap, take away COVID this year, but the salary cap always goes up. It's going up for a reason, because there's always new money coming in. So anytime you get that trickle effect. So if you're gonna be a part of something in the infancy part, why not have a structure in place where you can grow with it, if that's allowable, right? If that's an option. You know, everybody's not going to be with that. You know, some have certain structures, but I believe, you know, when you're looking at how can you make sure your clients are getting valued off the field, it's exploring every single option that is of value for them. Right. And then how can you maximize that value? Prime example is the Bobby Bonilla contract that everybody jokes about. I forget the name, but when he gets paid $1 million, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, right? They structured $25 million deferment. So he's still getting $1 million every year, even if he's dead broke. He got $1 million. He got another $1 million coming. If he blow that $1 million in there, well, I got one more coming, right? So that was the forward thinking of his agent at the time to say, and also probably some deferments, but still, they thought about doing it, right? And so, how can we consistently think that way to empower our athletes as their agents? July 1st is the day. Thank you, EP.
And I think that's a big thing. Like, not all and like I said, I keep bringing it back. You not just taking a check to take a check. But that was the thing that we used to do, you know, back in the day. Like, you know, people, you know, they wanted their signing bonus, they wanted their check right then and there. They wanted to be able to ball and splurge. But now, if we're talking about, you know, athletes, and they're taking ownership deals, they're taking equity deals, you know, they're taking deals, partnership deals, and being able to find these, you know, these up and coming companies and get very creative with how you're partnering with them.
That's the biggest key, man. Listen, anytime you can create an organic relationship, it's always better for the long run. And keyword, relationship and partnership. It's when you make things transactional, you can lose things transactionally. Right? So when you can find the real deal, you know, organic relationships, when you can find the real deal partnerships, like, you know, for example, Game Face Grooming, which has the wonderful Game Face Wipes, who's a partner of ours, and Jonathan Ward, you know, they got an amazing product. They're also a great company as well to partner with. You know, you know, so like when you think of those opportunities, and you think about what your client represents, you know, you, like I said from the beginning, you find out what they really give a care about. And once you do that, once you do your due diligence on that, then you can create those organic relationships. Then you can create those long-lasting partnerships. Right? And there's not just a transaction. It's just not. It's not a check. It means more. And not only does it mean more, it lasts longer.
Now, did you? Because I've been in sales for a long time as well. So did you learn that through sales, like just the difference between like you can do stuff transactional, but when you're building a relationship with the client, then that's what actually makes you able to, they trust you, they keep coming back to you, versus like, okay, if you just sold this person whatever this was and it wasn't what they needed, because I've seen the people that, you know, they'll go in and sell just to sell, and it's not necessarily a good fit. But if you actually build a relationship and they trust you, then that is something that's going to be able to you know, you get the big deal. So that's something that you learned through your corporate sales course.
You know, I will say, yeah, I got a bit. I opened up an interest. I've always had a personality where I like it to be real, to be genuine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I did learn something in my initial early years of sales, which I think is unique to myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, you know, you have agents that are just that, they're agents. They're
Mm-hmm.
transactional,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have some good agents out there. No disrespect to anybody, but there's also another element of being an agent in which, you know, for lack of a better word, it lacks at times, right?
Right.
The sensibility can lack in certain situations. So the thing that I did learn, one of my first trainers told me way back when I started, he said, listen, if you sell on price, they'll leave you on price.
Yep.
If you sell on relationship and honesty, they'll stay with you regardless of price.
Right.
They'll
Yep.
stay with somebody else walks through the door with a lower price.
Yep.
And that always stuck with me. And then as I matured in my career and now into this, you know, it just continued to matriculate itself. And with my own personality, just understanding that always relationships are the key to a lot of things. You know, but genuine and honest relationships.
Yep.
You don't want the wrong relationships.
Yep.
Right? You don't want to have a relationship that's gonna lead you down the wrong path.
Right. Right. So and that's to, like, that's not even just sports. That's to any entrepreneur on here that's just thinking about you know, where they can go in their business.
Right.
Don't be transactional, and just keep on building relationships and finding ways to build in business community. So just building a community of people that are going to support your business through anything. Like you just said, if they see somebody with a lower price, they're not just jumping to the lower price. They have a relationship with you, so that you have to be personable, and you have to make sure that you're building those relationships. That's a good point.
And when you're an entrepreneur, everybody needs help somewhere, somehow, some way, right? So you need to make sure you're building those genuine relationships, because you don't know where your help is gonna come from.
Yep. I'll even take that a step further. Not just your clients or your customers, just relationships in business in general, because that's another thing. When you build relationships, you'll build your network. Now, hey, I got this going on, they might be in a totally different industry, but hey, I might need to talk to you about, you know, XYZ.
And that's what I mean by you want to build honest and open relationships, because you don't know by the fact that you're a good person, you're an honest person, and you're helping someone else, that someone sees that and wants to help you, right? Or they want to refer you, or they. It speaks to when you can be open and honest and do it in a good way.
Yep, and those referrals are big. Those because they come when you don't even expect it.
Honestly, man, those are blessings, man. Those are really the name of the game, man. When you get to the point where, because of your exemplary work with someone else, and they've seen it firsthand through another person's eyes, and it's kind of the hurdles almost eliminated, because it's like, I've seen what you or what your company has done.
Yep.
Or people in your company, I've seen what they've done because through somebody that I trust. So if they trust you, I can trust you.
Yep. What is your name worth? What is your name? What are people saying about you when you're not in the room?
Exactly.
Like so that's like, when you're doing something for a certain reason, then you lose that, right? If you're doing it, like you just said, genuinely, then that's when you gain that credibility, because you're not doing it because somebody's seeing you, or you're not doing it because it's social media. You're doing it because this is genuinely who you are. This is genuinely how you are. So people are going to talk about you while you're not there in the same light, because you've proven that, and you built that name for yourself.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree, man. I agree wholeheartedly. Yep. I tell people all the time, and two things is, you don't ever have to worry about me lying to you. And all I have is my word. My daddy told me that a long time ago. If you lose your word, crap.
Yep.
That's kind of it with me, man. That's me in a nutshell.
Yep. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I want you to you know, kind of wrap it up and just tell people how they can find you. You know, if there's any athletes on here that that need representation? Like what give me your pitch. Just give me whatever you want to close out with.
Oh man, it's not necessarily a pitch. It's just me being honest.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make sure we care for you on and off the field. We're gonna make sure that we look in any aspect of your career. But most importantly, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Every client we have is like family, but we still know how to move corporately.
Yep.
But if you want to know how to find me, honestly, I answer most of the DMs. I tell people all the time, I will talk to you, respond to an email, pick up the phone, respond to a DM at least, once, right? Because I never forget why that guy asking questions. So yeah, I check my DMs. Obviously my social media on IG is OA the Agent. If you click my page, the website is there. Our email address is there to find me. We're certified, in our company page is Pyramid Sports Group, obviously. So it's ways to find us, and we look forward to we're on ready now for the 2022 NFL draft class. The NFL draft is over. We're focused on the 2022 NFL draft class. Obviously, we still have the MLB draft class coming up in 2021. Yep. Got some guys in college that are doing exceptionally well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, both of them just hit home runs over the weekend. One hit 2 back-to-back. Another one, amazing weekend. Is having an outstanding senior season. So, yeah, man, we look forward to talking to everyone, and parents included, moms and dads included, man. If they're deemed fit and feel inclined, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing in advance.
Dope. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on, man. Much blessings and much success in the future. Everybody, we still have books for the block. We're actually opening up a new location in Montgomery, Alabama. So I'll have in my DM how to donate and bring books to that community. We're opening it up in Woodley Park. So we need donations. We need books. We're bringing books to the youth. We're actually partnering with Youth in Action, to bring books to the block. We got another location coming later on this year. So I appreciate you, man. Everybody, see you next week. I'll be announcing who will be on, and we'll go from there.
Appreciate you for having me, Fred.
All right.